Hello everyone, in today's math challenge, we will look at this white-tailed cat question. One day, Mrs. Jones met Mrs. Smith on the street and they had a conversation. Mrs. Jones said, I saw one of your cats. It's lovely with a white tail. How many cats do you have in total? Mrs. Smith said, You know, my neighbor Mrs. Brown has got 20 cats. I don't have that many. Mrs. Jones asked again, How many do you have then? It seems Mrs. Smith is a mathematician because she didn't give the direct answer. Instead, she said, if you randomly pick up two of my cats, the probability that both of them have white tails is 50%. So now, if you are in Mrs. Jones' position, can you answer this question? How many cats does Mrs. Smith have, and how many of them have white tails? It seems there are not many clues. From this statement, we will see the total number of cats must be less than 20. And from this statement, it looks like not all the cats have got white tails, only some of them have got. So trust me, this question is really hard, and you have to employ specific strategy to solve it. You can pause this video here and spend as much time as you need, and then we come back for the answer. Okay, let's have a look at the answer together. Hopefully, to solve this question, the algebra is still our best friend. So we just set the total number of cats as capital C. Remember, C must be less than 20 here, and the number of cats with white tails as W. The only relationship we know is if you randomly pick up two cats, and the probability for both of them to have the white tail is 50%. So we have to do some calculations around this statement. When you randomly pick up the first cat, the probability it has a white tail is actually equal to W divided by C. W is the number of white-tailed cats, and C is the total number of cats. Okay, this is pretty straightforward to calculate. And then, when you randomly pick up the second cat, if the first cat has already got a white tail, the probability that the second cat also has a white tail is. And here, actually, we are calculating the so-called conditional probability. Under this condition, the first cat has already got a white tail. So what is the probability that the second cat also has got a white tail? It is equal to W minus 1 divided by C minus 1. Because after the first cat has already got a white tail, the total number of white-tailed cats remaining is equal to W minus 1. And the total number of cats remaining is equal to C minus 1. Okay, so just similarly, we can calculate the probability that the second cat has also got the white tail. And from here, we can employ the product law of the probability to calculate the probability of both cats have got white tails. Here, actually, we just need to multiply these two individual probabilities, W over C times W minus 1 over C minus 1. And from the question, it is equal to 50%. So W over C times W minus 1 over C minus 1 is equal to half. And we just rearrange this equation by multiplying 2 times C times in the brackets C minus 1 on both sides. And then we can open these brackets and then move this 2W times W minus 1 to the left side. And we will get C squared minus C minus 2W times W minus 1 in the brackets is equal to 0. So this looks a bit like a quadratic equation if we treat C as the unknown, okay? And here we just think about how to solve the quadratic equation. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut, and we have to do a systematic calculation here by try and error if you like. So basically, we need to build up this table, and there are 4 columns. The first column is the values for the W. W is the number of white-tailed cats, so it can take the values from 1 to 3, etc. And the second column is this 2W times W minus 1. So that means for each W value, you can always calculate this 2W times W minus 1 value. For example, if W is equal to 1, is equal to 1 minus 1, 0 times 1 times 2 is equal to 0. If W is equal to 2, here 2 minus 1 is equal to 1 times 2 times 2 is equal to 4. If W is equal to 3, here 3 minus 1 is equal to 2 times 3 times 2 is equal to 12. Okay, so you can calculate all the values for this 2W times W minus 1 for each individual W values. And then we can write this quadratic equation with the real numbers. And then we can just solve them. For example, for the first one, it's C squared minus C is equal to 0. We can easily solve it. C is equal to either 0 or 1. However, it is not possible because Mrs. Smith cannot just have one cat. Okay, so we have to discard this answer. And the second one, c squared minus c minus 4 is equal to 0. So no matter you use factorization method or formula method, you will see there is no integer solutions for this question. So that means we have to forget about it. And the third one, c squared minus c minus 12 is equal to 0. Actually, we can factorize the left side expression into c minus 4 in the brackets times c plus 3 in the brackets is equal to 0. So that means c is equal to either minus 3 or 4. And because c is the total number of cats, it can only take the positive value. So here 4 is a good answer. Actually, in this format of the quadratic equation, c squared minus c minus number is equal to 0, you can easily find the integer solutions by the factorization methods. However, this number, just like 12, must be the product of two consecutive integer numbers, for example, 3 and 4. Okay? Actually, from here, from this 24 until this 364, you will see all these numbers are not the product of the two consecutive integer numbers. If you are really good at this calculation, it won't take you too long time to find this out. Until the very last one, when w is equal to 15, c squared minus c minus 420 is equal to 0, and 420 can be split into 20 and 21. So that means this can be factorized into c minus 21 times c plus 20 is equal to 0. So c is equal to either minus 20 or 21. So here, 21 is a good solution. However, remember from the previous statement, c must be less than 20. And we don't have any choice. We have to throw this 21 away. So by looking at all the possible c values, the only correct solution is 4 when w is equal to 3. So that means the correct answer for this question is Mrs. Smith has got 4 cats in total, and 3 of them have white tails. And we can double check the probability for picking up 2 cats, because there are 3 white-tailed cats plus 1 black-tailed cat here. And when you pick up the first cat, the probability to have a white-tailed cat is 3 out of 4. Okay? And after you pick up the first white-tailed cat, there will be 2 white-tailed cats plus 1 black-tailed cat remaining. And for the second cat you pick up, the probability it also has got a white tail is equal to 2 over 3. So that means the probability for both cats to have white tails is equal to 3 over 4 times 2 over 3 is equal to 2 over 4 or 1 over 2 or 50%. So this question is really hard. However, it is a perfect training for both probability theory and how to solve quadratic equations. Thank you very much.